So the raster typology, or the way that we can conceptually understand the raster model, starts with a raster tessellation up top here. So the tessellation, again, is usually 99.9% of the time going to be square cells that divide up space, or pixels. And you can use those terms interchangeably in GIS, remote sensing, for example. People will know what you're talking about. So we have that tessellation. Now, that tessellation itself is very basic. And then what do we have in terms of the type of data? We can have continuous data, so some continuous variable measured in the cells at each location that a cell falls on in the real world, such as the recording of temperature, precipitation, elevation, lots of different examples of continuous variables, barometric pressure, whatever. We also have categorical types of rasters, where the cells record the presence or absence of some discrete entity within space. So a cell could record water, the presence of water, the presence of vegetation, the presence of house, the presence of street. So a raster, that simple data structure, which is a tessellation, can record either continuous or categorical information in each cell. Now, in continuous, we have a bunch of different kinds of rasters. We can have a continuous thematic raster, and that thematic means that the raster contains a single variable or theme, such as elevation, for example, or temperature. Then we have over here images, which record the reflected intensity of light, for example, in a certain part of the electromagnetic spectrum. And that's recorded for every single cell. So it's also a continuous type of data or information in the cells. With thematic layers, we can also have or convert between thematic and fuzzy. So we can go from thematic into a fuzzy variable, for example. So that's another kind of continuous data raster. With categorical rasters, we just have thematic under here. So a categorical raster will always be thematic. It will record one idea, theme, or variable. In terms of the composition then, how that is organized within the computer, we have simple raster model and extended raster model. The extended raster model includes the simple raster model, as we'll see, but at the same time, the simple raster model does not include the extended raster model. So these are different things. And extended rasters only occur for thematic categorical rasters. And we'll see what that is. And then in terms of the practical or pragmatic storage of a raster model in the computer, in memory or on disk, we have computer storage formats or raster formats. And there are hundreds of different raster formats. Ones you might be familiar with would be GIF or JPEG, because these are common ones that are used on the web, for example, or PNG. So these are files that are used on the web because they are highly compressed. So you can have a large image and only have to transfer a small amount of information through the internet. So it uses lower bandwidth. So let's look at each of these in turn.